We're back to square one with very little support right now.
A sector on its knees. 275 childcare centres across the country currently closed.
We're seeing unprecedented closures and we're seeing increasing staff shortages.
For kids, I think it's very difficult. They have teachers that they don't even recognise, their friends aren't even there.
More than 1 in 4 childcare staff are currently absent due to COVID. Some centres reporting the majority of their workers are unable to attend. Staff vacancies the highest on record.
We can't sustain these vacancies. We need to do something swiftly. We desperately need to have skilled migration addressed.
Child absence rates are over 40%. Enrolment dropping rapidly.
Am I worried about my kids catching COVID? Yes, absolutely. I will not send them to childcare if cases continue to rise.
Many centres have been waiving fees for absentees, but are pleading for urgent financial support for that to continue.
Services are losing between 40 and 45% of their revenue by waiving gap fees. We need to be able to continue to do that. Otherwise, families will withdraw their children.
Families, businesses and the Australian workforce rely on childcare.
We still have to work. We're still having a 3 and a 5-year-old at home. It's not really an ideal option.
740,000 people could be absent if our schools were closed or our childcare centres were also closed.
But as one of those sectors tries to get back to normal,
what's really important is that government considers early childhood as essential for our little ones and for our workforce.
Is the other in danger of sinking?
Kay Turner is the CEO of SDN Children's Services and she joins us now. Kay, such a tough time for you all at the moment. You have 27 centres. Are they going to survive this?
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you for having me. SDN Children's Services is a not-for-profit and we've survived for 116 years. That's been through 2 world wars, a depression and the Spanish flu. So we have every intention of surviving this pandemic, and like with those other crises, we use and talk to the community and to government to let them know that we need help to get through this.
You mentioned that you need help from government. What does that help have to look like in your view?
There's a couple of things. We certainly know that rapid antigen testing will help with confidence for testing of our workforce as well as testing for children. And so we really want to continue to have help in New South Wales and the ACT where we're getting help from state governments to pay for and cover the cost of RATs for the workforce, but not for children. We also need financial support. The government does support families with childcare subsidy, and that's fantastic, and will continue to receive that, even if children can't attend due to COVID. But that's only part of the fee. And we want to keep helping families by waiving what's called the gap fee so that they don't have out-of-pocket expenses when they can't send their children due to COVID. But we need a package of support so that we can continue to survive and pay our workforce so there's certainty to everyone.
What you're saying you need sounds pretty reasonable. Have you had any reaction from government yet?
There's certainly been some talks and the channels have been open, and as a sector we really appreciate that, and I know at a department level things are being looked at. But we need to say there's urgency about this. So while the conversations are happening, we need action right now, not ongoing talking.
Kay, schools have received, albeit late, COVID-safe plans to try and keep schools open, but do you feel forgotten?
Absolutely not. In fact, as a sector, we feel that we were ahead of the game together with governments at the beginning of the pandemic. Early learning services, of course, have been open right through this pandemic, much more than schools have, and we need to keep governments considering early learning and not assuming that we're the same as schools. So at this point, we're not abandoned, and we have a lot to contribute from our experience. So we want to continue to be heard and have our concerns responded to.
Well, all the best with everything, Kay. I know it's still a few tough months ahead, so we're thinking of you all.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you for having me.